NEC Section 110.12 focuses on workmanship within electrical installations. This section mandates that electrical work must be performed in a neat and workmanlike manner. While the NEC does not explicitly state the specific ratio of journeymen to apprentices, the requirement for neat and workmanlike execution implicitly addresses the need for adequate supervision and skill levels on the job. To elaborate on the implicit requirements, consider the factors influencing the suitability of journeyman to apprentice ratios. Firstly, safety is paramount. Adequate supervision ensures that apprentices perform tasks safely, preventing accidents and injuries. Secondly, code compliance is critical. A proper ratio ensures that installations adhere to the NEC and local regulations, avoiding violations and potential hazards. Thirdly, quality of work is essential. Sufficient journeyman oversight leads to higher quality installations, reducing the likelihood of errors and future problems. Now, to delve further into the implications of Section 110.12, let's examine some practical considerations. Consider the scope and complexity of the electrical work. Larger and more intricate projects may necessitate a higher ratio of journeymen to apprentices to maintain quality and safety. Next, evaluate the experience level of the apprentices. Less experienced apprentices will require more direct supervision compared to those with more training and on-the-job experience. Also, take into account the specific tasks being performed. Certain tasks, such as wiring panels or terminating high-voltage conductors, demand greater skill and oversight, potentially requiring a high journeyman presence. Moving on to the regulatory landscape, it's important to recognize that while the NEC itself doesn't dictate ratios, state and local jurisdictions often have their own regulations. These regulations may specify minimum ratios of journeymen to apprentices on electrical projects. Electrical contractors must comply with these local requirements to avoid penalties and ensure compliance. To further clarify the relationship between Section 110.12 and apprentice supervision, let's consider some examples. Firstly, in a residential wiring project, a journeyman might oversee several apprentices, ensuring they properly install outlets, switches, and lighting fixtures, while adhering to code requirements for wire sizing and grounding. Secondly, in a commercial building installation, a journeyman may guide apprentices in running conduit, pulling wires, and connecting equipment, making sure the work meets the specifications outlined in the project drawings and the NEC. Thirdly, in an industrial setting, a journeyman could supervise apprentices in installing and maintaining complex electrical systems such as motor control centers, transformers, and power distribution panels, ensuring safety and reliability. In addition to direct supervision, journeymen also play a crucial role in training and mentoring apprentices. They provide on-the-job instruction, teaching apprentices the proper techniques and best practices for electrical work. They also answer questions, offer guidance, and help apprentices develop their skills and knowledge. The effectiveness of apprentice training depends heavily on the journeyman's ability to communicate effectively and provide constructive feedback. Now, let's discuss some strategies for implementing effective journeyman to apprentice ratios. Firstly, conduct a thorough assessment of project needs. Evaluate the scope, complexity, and timeline of the project to determine the appropriate ratio of journeymen to apprentices. Secondly, consider apprentice experience levels. Match apprentices with tasks that align with their skill levels, providing adequate supervision and support. Thirdly, establish clear communication channels. Ensure that apprentices have easy access to journeymen for questions, guidance, and problem solving. Fourthly, provide ongoing training and development. Offer apprentices opportunities to expand their knowledge and skills through formal training programs and on-the-job learning experiences. Fifthly, monitor and evaluate performance. Regularly assess the performance of apprentices and journeymen, providing feedback and making adjustments as needed. Let's consider some common challenges associated with apprentice supervision. Firstly, time constraints can limit the amount of time journeymen can dedicate to supervising apprentices. Secondly, varying skill levels among apprentices can make it difficult to provide consistent guidance and support. Thirdly, communication barriers can hinder effective supervision and training. Fourthly, safety concerns can arise if apprentices are not properly trained and supervised. To address these challenges, contractors can implement strategies such as allocating sufficient time for supervision, providing individualized training plans, fostering open communication, and prioritizing safety training. Now, let's examine the role of technology in apprentice training. Online learning platforms, virtual reality simulations, and mobile apps can supplement traditional on-the-job training. These technologies can provide apprentices with access to a wide range of educational resources, allowing them to learn at their own pace and reinforce their understanding of electrical concepts. Furthermore, technology can facilitate remote supervision, enabling journeymen to monitor the progress of apprentices and provide feedback remotely. It's important to remember that the ultimate goal of apprentice supervision is to develop competent and skilled electricians who can perform high-quality work safely and efficiently. By investing in apprentice training and providing adequate supervision, electrical contractors can contribute to the growth of the electrical industry and ensure a reliable supply of qualified electricians. Furthermore, the NEC has other sections that may indirectly impact or relate to the qualifications and responsibilities of both journeymen and apprentices. Let's examine some of these related sections. Firstly, NEC Section 110.3, Examination, Identification, Installation, and Use of Equipment, requires that electrical equipment be installed and used in accordance with its listing and labeling. This section implies that installers, including apprentices, must be knowledgeable about the proper installation techniques and safety precautions for the equipment they are working with, underscoring the need for proper training and supervision. Secondly, NEC Section 210.8, Ground Fault Circuit Interrupter Protection for Personnel, mandates the use of ground fault circuit interrupters, or GFCIs, in certain locations to protect against electrical shock. Apprentices must be trained on how to properly install and test GFCIs to ensure they function correctly and provide the intended level of protection. Thirdly, NEC Section 250, Grounding and Bonding, provides detailed requirements for grounding and bonding electrical systems to minimize the risk of electrical shock and fire. Apprentices must understand the principles of grounding and bonding and be able to install grounding electrodes, equipment grounding conductors, and bonding jumpers correctly. Fourthly, NEC Section 300.4, Protection against physical damage, requires that wiring methods be protected from physical damage during and after installation. Apprentices must be trained on how to properly support and protect cables and conductors to prevent damage from impact, abrasion, or other hazards. Fifthly, NEC Section 310.15, Ampacity of conductors, provides guidance on selecting the appropriate size of conductors for electrical circuits based on their ampacity, or current carrying capacity. Apprentices must understand how to use ampacity tables and correction factors to ensure that conductors are not overloaded, which could lead to overheating and fire. Sixthly, NEC Article 408, Switchboards, Switchgear, and panel boards, covers the installation and wiring of switchboards, switchgear, and panel boards, which are critical components of electrical distribution systems. Apprentices must be trained on how to properly terminate conductors, install circuit breakers, and maintain the integrity of these systems. Seventhly, NEC Article 500, Hazardous Classified Locations, addresses the installation of electrical equipment in hazardous locations where flammable gases, vapors, or dust may be present. Apprentices working in these locations must receive specialized training on the requirements for explosion-proof equipment, intrinsically safe circuits, and other safety measures. Eighthly, NEC Article 600, Electric Signs and Outline Lighting, covers the installation and wiring of electric signs and outline lighting systems. Apprentices must be trained on the requirements for sign disconnects or for current protection and grounding to ensure the safe operation of these systems. Ninthly, NEC Article 700, Emergency Systems, addresses the installation of emergency power systems that provide backup power during power outages. Apprentices must be trained on the requirements for emergency generators, transfer switches, and battery systems to ensure that these systems function reliably when needed. Tenthly, NEC Article 725, Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 remote control, signaling, and power limited circuits covers the installation of low-voltage remote control, signaling, and power limited circuits. Apprentices must be trained on the requirements for wiring methods, overcurrent protection, and grounding to ensure that these circuits do not pose a fire or shock hazard. These are just a few examples of the many NEC sections that are relevant to the training and supervision of electrical apprentices. A comprehensive understanding of the NEC is essential for all electricians, including apprentices, to ensure that electrical installations are safe, reliable, and code compliant. Let's now consider the importance of continuing education for both journeymen and apprentices. The electrical industry is constantly evolving, with new technologies, materials, and techniques emerging all the time. To stay up to date and maintain those skills, journeymen and apprentices should participate in continuing education programs such as code update classes, product training seminars, and online courses. Continuing education can help electricians enhance their knowledge, improve their skills, and advance their careers. To recap, while NEC Section 110.12 doesn't explicitly state journeyman to apprentice ratios, its implication on workmanship, combined with local regulations and other NEC articles, should be considered.